Every week with Lee Corso was a spectacle, and what a grand finale to an amazing career. Lee, thank you for the passion, the joy, and the zeal you brought to each of us for nearly every Saturday over the last 30 years. As we welcome you to New Orleans, Louisiana, continuing the celebration of Lee Corso and the return of college football. It's Northwestern, it's Tulane, and the hot topic all year for both programs, the quarterback situation. Preston Stone, Jake Retzlaff, two elite transfers make their debuts today. Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to college football. Boy, it feels good to say
yes,
that.
Matt
does. Schumacher, the former Ohio State Buckeye, Dustin Fox. Before we get into the matchup today, congratulations to Lee Corso. What a man, what a coach, what an ambassador for the sport. And ironically, you were there nearly 30 years ago for his very first pick, putting on the Brutus headgear.
Never would have imagined. In 1996, I'm there watching my older brother, who played for Penn State at the time. I'm an Ohio kid, there with my family. He puts on the Brutus headgear, and it becomes this legendary moment that is iconic. And we talk about it to this day, and here we are 30 years later, nearly 30 years later, and we're celebrating what an icon of the sport and just an ambassador for college football.
A worthy celebration for an amazing man. Congrats again, Lee, as we turn the page to a new college football season. Dustin Fox, and for Tulane, an electric offense last year. They lost Darian Mensa in the transfer portal to Duke, but they picked up one of the top transfer quarterbacks in Jake Retzlaff.
Yeah, Jake Retzlaff, we all know about this young man. He was a terrific quarterback for the Cougars for the last couple seasons, 11-2 last season as a starter. He graduated from BYU, decided to take his talents here to the Big Easy, and is going to finish up his final season here as a member of the Green Wave.
While Tulane's offense last year was electric, Northwestern's was anemic, and they addressed the #1 concern in the offseason. Quarterback Preston Stone was the guy that David Braun, their head coach, felt like he had to have, and they got him this year.
Well, the key to having a good quarterback at the college level is you got to have a player at that position that everybody else believes in. And now they finally feel like they have that in Preston Stone. Played 3 years at SMU, 13-3 as a starter. Had some adversity at the end of his career, obviously banged up, then he gets benched and decides to move on, and Northwestern feels like they've got themselves a good one.
Well, this Northwestern team was in the bottom of the Big Ten last year in nearly every offensive category, and Coach Braun told us the thing that you can expect if you're a fan of Northwestern this year: high-level quarterback play and an offensive line that looks the part to play in the Big Ten. And on the other side, John Summerall, coming off a 9-5 season in his first year at the helm, has a real chance this year, Dustin, to take Tulane to the college football playoff. They are one of the favorites out of the group of 5.
Ready for a little toe meets leather, partner? 2025. Cannot believe we are here. So excited for a little college football. And this is a heck of an early season matchup. P5 versus P4 on the road. This is a big one here for both squads.
Tulane won the toss, elected to defer to the second half. Patrick Durkin will boot it away. And Joseph Hyman II, the most dangerous return man perhaps in the Big Ten, awaits. And so we will get to see Preston Stone in a Northwestern uniform after 4 years at SMU, where he was a two-time captain and led them to a 10-2 record in 2023.
Very excited to see what he brings to the table with this offense, because we all know they couldn't run the football last year. They couldn't throw the football. And part of that is when you can't run, you can't set up the pass. So here we're going to see an opportunity here for him to open some things up here for this offense. And boy, they got a really talented receiver we'll talk a lot about as we go throughout the broadcast, partner. This young man, the transfer in from South Dakota State, Griffin Wilde.
He sends Hunter Welsing in motion, looking for Wilde, and the ball is out. I believe Northwestern got back on it, but what a swarm in the backfield by this Tulane defensive line.
Wow, bringing a little pressure here to start this. Harvey Dyson comes off the right side with a little hook and swat. Nearly gets the football, but a great job by Preston to get on the ball and save the turnover early in the ball game. I think that was Caleb actually that got it.
Not the start this Northwestern offense was hoping for. Behind the chains for 2nd and 18. And the ball goes to Hyman, the second. You know, Dustin, we chatted at length with this Northwestern staff about their desire this year to run the football, which they were unable to do last year. Hard to do that when it's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, really difficult spot to be in here, behind the sticks to start on the road. It's a big game we talked about for both squads. And you know, if you're Northwestern, you're trying to establish some sort of a rhythm here offensively. And now, early, 3rd and 11, you know that Preston Stone has to put the football in the air.
Tulane's defense, one of the best in the American Conference last year on 3rd downs. Stone looking deep, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Jaheim Johnson out across midfield. And Tulane gets the football back with a late flag behind the play.
Matt, I think this is going to stand as an interception, but you will come back. Not sure if there was a block in the back or a hold on the return, but this ball is just airmailed by Preston Stone, and a terrific job in the back end by Jaheim Johnson to get the ball, and then obviously turns himself into an offensive player as we wait for the official call.
After the interception and during the return, holding, intercepting team number 11, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
That was the redshirt freshman Isaiah Shine with the hold, but already a turnover for this Tulane defense, picking up right where they left off last season. Top 30 in the country in turnovers forced a year ago. And now we will see the BYU transfer, Jake Retzloff. His first snap as a Tulane Green Wave quarterback, won a tightly contested quarterback battle with Iowa transfer Brennan Sullivan. Led BYU to an 11-2 record a year ago. Maybe a little botched handoff there, and Retzloff is popped by Robert Fitzgerald coming down from the safety spot.
Man, he was a terrific player for the Cougars last season in Provo. 26 touchdowns, 12 picks. You'll take those numbers, and certainly for this offense, you know, it's crazy to think that they had 4 quarterbacks all transfer in to compete for this job. So this wasn't given to Jake Retzloff.
Hands it off, no, fakes it to Maurice Turner, and it's off the hands of Bryce Bohannon.
Was that may have been a backward pass, Matt. We'll have to double check this because, boy, that was very close, Matt. They may want to take another look at this one. The line of scrimmage is the 49. He did throw it. I think he threw it backwards.
They're lucky that went out of bounds regardless. Well, and now 3rd and long for Tulane on their opening drive.
That was
empty
close.
Set for Retzloff. 3-man rush. Retzloff under pressure and delivers. Amari Hayes, the FAU transfer, with a 1st down grab.
Well, you said it, partner. The FAU transfer does a nice job with his nice release, playing way too much cushion there in the back end by Northwestern. Little zone coverage. Easy pitch and catch.
Back out to Hayes. And near the sticks, they will give him another 1st down. He led the Owls at FAU in receiving yards last year after he was a scout teamer in 2023. Big pickup in the portal.
Yeah, this kid is a tremendous talent. Just a sophomore, redshirt sophomore, has a lot of eligibility left, and they really like what this young man brings to the table here, especially from this wide receiver group that needs to develop some depth.
First carry to Maurice Turner. Louisville transfer, spins, and breaks another tackle. 3 consecutive 1st down gains for the Green Wave. And a pickup of 13 for Maurice Turner.
Well, you better buckle up your chin strap because this guy is coming to play some football today. All the members of the Green Wave bumbling, stumbling through the line, breaking tackles, and that's exactly what Turner brings to the table.
And in comes Brendan Sullivan at the quarterback spot, the Iowa transfer who dealt with an injury in the preseason.
Let's see what they're going to do with him. They got him lined up here. He's the quarter. Yeah, Sullivan's in motion here.
They fake it to him. It's Turner out of the Wildcat, shifting inside the 5, and a great effort to get near the first down marker. Tackle made by Garner Wallace.
Now Sullivan is number 6. He's the one that comes in motion. They fake the little toss to him, and then it's just Turner. Straight Wildcat there. And a really nice play design. It's going to set up, I mean, it's second in less than a yard, which tells you, you've got a million opportunities here from the 4-yard line. Basically 7 opportunities to get 4 yards.
2 running back set due to Barnes, the leading returning rusher, number 20. And Maurice Turner. It goes to Turner, and he is stuck in the backfield by John Stevens Jr.
Tell you what, this is a big-time hit by John Stevens. This is a true freshman. 29 comes in here and delivers the boom. Welcome to some college football, young man.
The line of scrimmage on
all right,
too many players on the field.
Yeah.
The line of scrimmage both ways, Dustin, was something that David Braun and this Northwestern coaching staff emphasized coming into this game and into the season. By the way, that penalty makes it 1st and goal now from about the 1.5-yard line. Big test here for the Northwestern defensive front. Fake it to Turner. Retzlaff rolling. It is a touchdown. Justin Reed, first catch in a Tulane uniform for 6.
Well, everybody on that Northwestern sideline, including all the players on the field, thought this was going to be a run. It's a play-action bootleg. He had 3 options he could have thrown to, and they were all open. And they decided to go to the back of the end zone to Reed. And that's his first touchdown grab as a member of the Green Wave.
Couldn't ask for a better start for this Tulane offense that replaced all but 2 starters from last year. And Durkin's PAT is good. A 7-0 lead for Tulane after the pick gave them the ball back.
Points off of turnovers. They're critical. You got to have them. The Green Wave got them. 7-0 from the Big Easy.
Welcome to the All-State Saturday Kickoff. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. Gorgeous first Saturday for college football in New Orleans, Louisiana. And you couldn't ask for a better start for the hometown team, the Tulane Green Wave, after the interception by Preston Stone. Go 8 plays for a touchdown, and we've already seen a turnover, Dustin. Something to keep an eye on, of course, in these season openers with all these new faces. The speed of the game, how do these players and these quarterbacks in particular adjust? And as the Northwestern staff told us, we understand some of the tendencies of Tulane defensively, but player personnel is a bit of a question mark with just 3 returning starters from last year.
Well, and that's going to be an issue for them is these guys learn to gain the experience and try and develop the culture. I mean, we're talking about a new era of football here at Northwestern and trying to really turn the page.
Well, Preston Stone, 2-time captain at SMU, was voted a captain immediately.
Almost unanimously, by the way.
Yes.
Which is very impressive.
How does he respond after an opening drive pick? Ball goes to Cam Porter, the 3-time captain, and their back-to-back leading rusher. No gain. Well,
that's Santana Hopper on this tackle, Matt, and we haven't talked about him quite yet, but I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about him as we go throughout this day. Number 29, the transfer from App State, is just an absolute game wrecker, and right there on that play, and it's a 1-yard gain, but he beat a near double team and gets inside. Just a nasty football player that Coach Summerall absolutely loves.
Second and 9, and nearly intercepted again by Johnson.
Wow.
Who had the first pick on the opening drive.
Wow, for Wildcat fans, that is a head scratcher, because you're thinking, man, this is our savior. And right there, a little miscommunication, maybe some miscommunication on the first interception, not sure. But right here, the corner just sits right down on it. That's Jaheim Johnson, who had the first interception, nearly comes away with the second pick, and that one probably would have been a house call.
And now another passing down on 3rd and 9 for Northwestern.
Well, the last third down they had was 3rd and 11. It was an interception to Jaheim Johnson.
Stone underneath, caught by Alex Lyons, their transfer tight end, but not nearly enough for a first down. Just a little bit of shakiness, it feels to me, Dustin Fox, from this Northwestern offense first 2 drives.
I mean, there's got to be some nerves, right, from Preston Stone. Hasn't really started at quarterback in over, a season plus, right? Yeah. So there's got to be some, first game jitters. You're at a new program, you're voted captain. Like, there's got to be something there. And I think we're seeing a little bit early in this ball game.
Here's Amari Hayes, the FAU transfer, trying to dance out of trouble and cannot. It's Fitzgerald making the tackle for Northwestern.
Well, last drive, the Green Wave had a very short field. It was sudden change, an opportunity for them, and they took advantage of it and, go down and get 7 points on about a 45-yard drive. Here, got to go a little bit longer. Let's see what Coach Summerall decides to dial up here on the second drive of the game for their new quarterback, Jake Retzloff.
Didn't have the best close to his season at BYU last year, and ended with an interception, no touchdowns, and an Alamo Bowl win against Colorado. But for a guy that came here in late July, the coaching staff just so impressed by how quickly he's adapted. Turner shaking loose, and another big pickup on first down. We have seen chunk play after chunk play to start this game for Tulane.
What's very fascinating to me, Matt, is, for a young man in Jake Retzloff to come here and basically, he hasn't been here very long.
No.
And, in fact, he was the last quarterback to arrive out of all the transfers. And we were sitting with the coaching staff yesterday. They were talking through some of the verbiage of this offense, the terminology, Matt. It's like going to like a chemistry class, high level in college. I mean, it was insane. These guys have to be like rocket scientists to be able just to read the play calls. There's the 4 quarterbacks that transferred in.
By the way, that's why you played cornerback, not quarterback.
I mean, I told Coach Summerall, I mean, he read like a couple of the plays off, and I said, not for me.
No.
Just give me a hand signal. Am I man or zone?
4-headed monster at quarterback. All 4 were in the conversation during fall camp. And as you mentioned, Retzloff came last as a walk-on. Found some scholarship money for him late. And that brings up 4th and 3 after the hot throw to Turner.
Yeah, it was hot, but it was still a ball that probably should have been caught by Maurice Turner. It was open in the flat. Would have just walked to an easy first down and could have went out of bounds, but nonetheless, a stop here, 3 and out. A big stop, by the way, for the Wildcats. Needed it.
Alec Clark on to punt. Former walk-on Drew Wagner back to receive. And he will fair catch it just in front of his own 25 after a punt of 42. Northwestern's first 2 drives unsuccessful. Can the 3rd time be a charm for Preston Stone?
The Allstate Saturday Kickoff is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. And McDonald's.
Welcome back to New Orleans, Louisiana. Yulman Stadium, home of the Tulane Green Wave. A team that is squarely in the conversation to be a Group of 5 qualifier for the college football playoff. Up 7-zip right now on Northwestern, who Dustin felt like coming into the year they looked more like a Big Ten team. Certainly up front, that is the case.
A Big Ten team. They look more like an NFL team. I mean, they could be playing, they could be the 5th member of the NFC North. How about that? Look at the size of the Bears versus the size of these Wildcats. I mean, this is a big time, old school, like Wisconsin type of offensive line, Matt.
So far, this offense has produced 3 yards and a turnover over their first 2 drives. Joseph Hyman in the backfield. Stone will complete his first pass of the game to Frank Covey, the 4th. And they're glad to see him healthy this year after back-to-back years dealing with injury.
Yeah, this is a nice little throw here by Preston Stone. And you made a good point, Matt. You know, Covey is a guy who's just battled so much since he's been here at Northwestern. He's their leading returning receiver, by the way, with 10 catches. So that tells you all you need to know about the production from that group.
Handoff goes to Hyman. Sheds 1 tackle, cannot get past Bailey Despaney, who tied for the lead with 40 solo tackles last year in the defensive backfield for Tulane.
They call him Slim.
He's not looking too slim anymore.
Not too slim anymore. I mean, he's up to about 204, 205. But a big-time leader back there, just steady Eddie, man. Makes plays, makes tackles, gets guys lined up, even-keeled. Just love having a guy like him in the back end of your secondary.
There is Griffin Wilde, two-time national champ at South Dakota State, reconnecting with his old offensive coordinator, Zach Lujan, and they feel very confident that he can come in and replace some of the lost production from a year ago at wide receiver.
Oh, they've got to have it, and this young man certainly gives them hope. Did it at the FCS level, did it in a big way. It was an All-American. Won a couple of natties there with the Jackrabbits in Brookings, South Dakota. Here he is now with the Wildcats. Jackrabbit to a Wildcat. Who'd win that fight?
And off on 3rd and short, and plowing ahead for a first down is Joseph Hyman, who expects to get a lot of touches today.
This guy's just going to line up everywhere for this offense. Another one of the playmakers are trying to get the football in the hands of this young man. It's a nice job just kind of squeezing through the phone booth there to pick up that first down. Now they're right at midfield, looking to cross into plus territory here for the first time in this ball game.
And they have 3 tight ends into the game, split out to the right. Now they'll shift for this 1st and 10 at midfield.
Shot play, I think.
There you go. And it's Amarazi with a first down. And more. Twisted across the 30 by Isaiah Shine.
Kind of just an ISO route, max protection. You know, you take him at the top, you get way too soft a coverage. It's man coverage, really no help in the middle of the field. And you can see the corner right there playing off. That's Shine getting his first start of his career.
Ricky Amarazi, another one of those unproven wide receivers, trying to help Preston Stone find his groove in his first career start for the Northwestern Wildcats. Play clock down to 2. Stone underneath to Wilde. Couple of rhythm throws for Stone, looking more confident on this 3rd drive.
Definitely looks more confident on this drive, Matt. And he's certainly targeting Wilde on the outside. A couple targets here on this drive alone. That's a nice pickup on first down. Now here you go. 2nd in about 2. They go right back to that little heavy set. Tight formation, bunch formation to the top.
Hyman in motion. It goes to Porter. And he will leap for a first down.
On the carry, tackle is made by number 3, Jeremy White.
Well, Northwestern struggled in just about every facet offensively last year, including scoring in the red zone in the bottom portion of the FBS. That's where Tulane's offense excelled.
First and 10
In the red zone here, 1st and 10. Hyman always finds positive yardage.
That play faked me out like crazy, by the way. I just want to say that. I mean, I'm not sure if it faked out everyone at home, but I'm looking at like 3 different places to see who had the football. That was a really well-designed play by Northwestern. Didn't do much, but nonetheless, I mean, it was a really cool play design.
Well, Zach Lujan told us there would be more wrinkles this year. Year 2 as the offensive coordinator, challenged by his head coach, David Braun, to maybe expand it a little bit with Preston Stone at quarterback. First carry to Caleb Komolafe. And he pushes the pile right near the first down marker, and they will move it.
This has just been a methodical drive for Northwestern. They've eaten up a ton of clock on this drive. 10th play of the drive.
And 5 first downs for the Wildcats. We've seen some more of that Big Ten physicality up front from this O-line that rivals the Chicago Bears in terms of measurements. Komalafe. Seconds left in the opening quarter, 2nd and goal. Stone, end zone, and overthrows Griffin Wilde.
Boy, a lot of contact there against Griffin Wilde. Isaiah Shine was the man in coverage on the outside. And boy, Stone was looking directly at Wilde the entire route. And on the inside, frankly, I think he had a receiver wide open, because they end up doubling on the outside with Wilde. All right, big 3rd down. 3rd and 7. Can you get the first down? Correction, 3rd and goal.
Komalafe scooting across the 5 and stacked up. Jack Chinchu and Chris Rogers with the gang tackle. Do you think about going for this here? It doesn't look like Northwestern's going to.
Yeah, I don't know that you go for it here. Had they picked up another couple of yards inside to about the 2 or the 1, I think you would consider it. Here you're on the 4. Matt, as methodical this drive has been, what, 12 plays now? I think you have to at least get something on this drive. Maybe they fake it. But they're lining up for a field goal.
Luke Akers for 3 and splits the uprights. The son of the Eagles Hall of Fame kicker David Akers puts Northwestern on the board. 7-3 Tulane. back in New Orleans. Northwestern goes 13 plays, 69 yards, and a field goal for their opening score of the game, trailing by 4. As we take a look at our Fansville College football update, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. You want to talk about group of 5 teams with a chance to make the playoff. Alex Golish and South Florida, Dustin Fox, feel like they can be that team this year.
I said to you before the season, partner, I like what they're building in Tampa. South Florida, you know, obviously they've been playing at Raymond James, where the Buccaneers play for all these years. Now they've got the funding. They're building a stadium on campus, and Golish has done a great job. And their quarterback Bynum is an unbelievable football player.
There's Maurice Turner on the return, is chopped down in front of the 20. Agreed, by the way. Bynum certainly will contend for Conference Player of the Year, you would think. Jake Retzlaff hoping he can be that for Tulane this year, which was very close. Remember, last year this Tulane team was ranked in the top 20 at one point, winning 8 in a row before they lost their final 3 games.
That's the great thing about the playoff expansion, is now it does allow teams like Tulane and Boise and others in the group of 5 to have an opportunity to compete. And you know, you have a run where you win 10, 11 ball games, and you win a game like this. Like, it really helps propel your season along, and to not just winning a conference championship here in the American, which, oh, by the way, is, you can make the argument that they're basically the extra P4.
Right.
I mean, they're the extra, you know, if you were to have a P5, it'd be the American. It's a great conference. Good football played here. You had 4 teams last year that all were in the mix.
First quarter winding down after the carry to Zuberi Mobley. Will they snap it with 5 seconds? Final play of the quarter is incomplete to Bryce Bohannon. Tulane with an early lead, scoring 6 off a pick, and a great drive by Jake Retzlaff. Their defense turning it to offense, and the hometown team up on the Big Ten school early in New Orleans. Welcome back to Ullman Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana. Week 1 of college football. Tulane up 7-3 after an interception of Preston Stone on the opening drive and converted that to 6. Tulane has won 27 of its last 32 games when creating at least a turnover. And it's 3rd and 7 to start the second quarter for Tulane. BYU transfer quarterback Jake Retzlaff back to pass. And a deep throw is batted down by Josh Fussell, but a flag comes in.
Yeah, they're going to end up getting Fussell on the contact there. The ball was thrown a little bit behind his wide receiver. They're trying to find Chaz Preston. I don't know. I feel like the throw is what made the contact look so apparent. But you know my bias, partner.
Being the former defensive player that you were. A national champ, I might add, at the Ohio State University.
Partner.
Big game today.
Yes, sir.
For them against Arch Manning and the Texas Longhorns. First down. Fake the toss to Mobley. Retzlaff on the run and hits Omari Hayes for a first down out near midfield and a pickup of 12.
I love how they're rolling the pocket and getting Retzlaff just outside the pocket, giving him options. It's a very similar play that they ran down around the goal line. This one just a little bit deeper routes, and there he just finds his target right over the middle. Easy throw and catch to Omari Hayes.
Retzlaff 4 for 8 to start the game. There's Mobley on the short pitch, running it wide and cannot get past Garner Wallace. But another nice gain on first down for the Green Wave.
And it's a heck of a tackle there by Garner Wallace at the end.
Retzlaff off play action hits Hayes again, who's been his favorite target in the first half. Has another first down gain.
You got to love the play calls here for Tulane. They really keep a defense off balance. They change things up with motions and shifts. They run inside, then they run outside. They'll move the pocket with Retzlaff, who's an excellent athlete, more than capable to take off and run, and can make plays with his legs outside the pocket.
Has
Very
connected
balanced
with Hayes 4 times for 42 yards. Zips it out to Bohannon. Now, to me, it feels like Jake Retzlaff, though he's only been here for 2 months, has a very nice command of this Tulane offense.
He looks very comfortable. They're not going to throw everything at him, so I'm sure he feels like he has a complete grasp of the offense, but it's not like they're going into this game with a game plan that says, okay, here's a playbook that's, a game plan that's as thick as the Bible. No, it's not like that, but he certainly has a good feel for enough of the offense where he feels very comfortable. Looks great out here, and then you got a flag on this second down.
Here is Gregory Bloom, our referee this afternoon in New Orleans.
Can take. That's going to get called every time.
Second and 17. Retzlaff has a wide open man. Justin Reed. Foot race inside the 10 and brought down after a monster gain for the Southern Miss transfer. 33 yards.
Another thing that Tulane's doing a really good job of, Matt, is they're making Northwestern run, and they're really testing their eye discipline with the way that they're running their offense right now. I mean, they're doing a lot of these bubble screens. They're making Northwestern run sideline to sideline. It's hot, Matt. It's humid. I played tennis this morning at 6:30, and it wasn't, the sun wasn't out. Had to drop that in, by the way. It was steamy out there. Point is, these Northwestern defenders right now could be getting a little bit tired.
Retzlaff trying to take advantage. End zone shot. Oh, and it's in and out of the hands of Bohannon. Garner Wallace on the coverage.
And that's just one of those plays, it's a season opener. You can catch those in practice, but it's a little different here. You get out here against a Big Ten opponent. It's a big-time game to open the season, and those jitters, those easy catches in practice become a little bit more difficult here in a game.
On a steamy Saturday midday in New Orleans, Louisiana. 2nd and 10. Retzlaff takes off. Design run, and he goes head first across the 5 as Braden Turner met him from the nickel position.
The weather today, it's 81, but man, that humidity is up there. It's not 781%, but it's 78%.
Feels like
but it feels like 78 or 781% humidity today.
A little bit different than Chicago, Illinois on the lake.
No doubt.
No less.
It does feel very, very steamy and sticky out here in the bayou.
10th play of this Tulane drive. Fake it to Bohannon. Turner on a low throw by Retzlaff, incomplete, and now decision time for John Summerall.
Not even close to a decision. This is a very easy decision. You're going to bring out the field goal unit here to try to take the 3 points. But another drop. This should have been a catch and should have been a touchdown. Tulane should be walking away from this drive, being up 14-3. Instead, they're looking at potentially being up 10-3. Retzlaff's not too happy with that one.
Patrick Durkin on for the kick. 22 yards from straight away. And he makes it 10-3 Tulane. Maybe a disappointing drive for the Green Wave with 2 dropped touchdown passes. David Braun loving it for Northwestern. Back in New Orleans, Louisiana, after Lee Corso's final headgear pick this morning. Picking Brutus. Could he pick anybody else? I don't think so. Next week, the show rolls on for an epic top 20 non-conference showdown. Michigan at Oklahoma, a retooled offense under transfer quarterback John Mateer for the Sooners. Should be an exciting week 2 matchup. Meanwhile, this was expected to be a very tightly contested and exciting week 1 matchup. G5 contender against a Power 4 program. It has lived up to it so far. A 7-point deficit for Northwestern, which in year 2 under David Braun has the feeling of a program on the rise again. Certainly a lot to be excited about next year. The new Ryan Field, $1 billion facility opening in 2026.
Yeah, really going to be state of the art right there in Chicago. And listen, Matt, Ryan Field was an awesome venue, historic venue. I had an opportunity to play there a couple times when I was at Ohio State. Really cool place to play. Played a couple night games there, in fact. But it was getting to be a little bit dated. They want to make it, state of the art for the fans, for the student athletes, and boy, they certainly have done a great job of that. And by the way, it's pretty cool they're playing out there at the practice facility outside on the lake. I know it's not like perfect, but it's really, really cool looking venue.
Certainly one of the more unique venues in all of sports at the moment. So this Northwestern team began the game, their first 2 drives, 3 yards and a pick. Last drive, 13 plays, 69 yards and a field goal. What have you seen change for them over the course of this game so far?
The one thing that I like is that last drive was really, really consistent. They were able to stay balanced. And Preston Stone seemed to get a little bit more confidence by just getting some completions, stacking those up. And certainly the offense then felt their way through that drive and did a nice job all the way down the field.
Stone is intercepted. What a pick! Kevin Adams III, nearly on the seat of his pants, hauls it in for the 2nd turnover for Tulane.
Wow, what a heck of a play here by Kevin Adams. Number 7's going to come into your screen and do a really nice job just cutting off this route. The coverage was supposed to be by Shine, and from his safety spot, he comes all the way down, cuts off the route, and it's the 2nd pick of the day by Preston Stone. And for Kevin Adams III, 2nd pick of his career, had 1 last season, and a nice way to start off his sophomore campaign.
And for the 2nd time in this game, Tulane will begin a drive inside Northwestern territory after an interception by Preston Stone. Chance to go up 2 scores here for the Green Wave. 10 minutes and change left in the first half. Duda Barnes on the carry. A physical, bruising runner who, despite all the transfers coming in at the running back spot, still figures to be a major contributor, the leading returning rusher from last year.
Yeah, this is a very important drive for this Northwestern defense. It's the 2nd time they've been put into a sudden change situation where Tulane gets the football in plus territory. The first drive went for 7. If they can hold them to 3 here, to me, that's a win.
Pressure off the edge, picked up and airmailed, looking for the Washington State transfer Trey Shackelford.
And Shackelford was open, but there was pressure on the outside by Anto Saka. Taking a look at some of the newcomers here for this offense. Justin Reed caught the touchdown. Mari Hayes balling. Mo Turner balling. Retzloff looks very comfortable.
All but 2 offensive linemen departed in the starting 11 on this Tulane offense from last year. Now a 3rd and 5 for the BYU transfer quarterback. Retzloff will take it. Bouncing off 1 tackle and cannot escape Mac Uline, the Mike linebacker for Northwestern.
Well, that's huge now because Tulane now has to make a decision. Do you want to punt the football away? They're not going to kick a field goal, I don't believe. Or do they decide to go for this, which would be about 4th and 7? kind of in that no man's land. I think they're going to keep the offense, Matt, on the field.
Do you agree with the decision?
I do. I do.
Retzlaff started the game 7 for 11. He's 0 for his last 3. A definite passing down, one would think. 4th and 8 with Turner in the backfield. And a timeout taken by Northwestern. An impending 4th and 8 looming. Tulane in Northwestern territory when we come back.
Let's take a look at today's Good Hands plays presented by Allstate. Oh, good hands for Tulane. Not so great for Northwestern. Interception to start this ball game by Jaheim Johnson. And then another pick thrown by Preston Stone. This one to Kevin Adams III. And then your quarterback for the Green Wave, Jake Retzlaff, with the touchdown throw to Justin Reed. And here we stand, 10-3 on the day. So we take a look at the two quarterbacks, the two transfer quarterbacks here starting this ball game. And we've got a big 4th down looming here, Matt Schumacher.
Interesting, after the Northwestern timeout, Tulane had an opportunity to think about it. They decide to roll with it. 4th and 8 from the Northwestern 39. Four-man rush. Retzlaff hits his man right at the sticks. It is Sidecar Lewis Jr., who played in just 3 games last year, extending this drive on 4th and 8.
Just a tremendous job of concentration on this play. Really, really good job by the wide receiver there. Lewis does a nice job.
Toss to Turner. Scooped it with one arm.
Yeah, that was a dangerous toss.
Going back to that 4th down, though, Dustin, I mean, what a huge call by John Sumrall after the turnover, feeling like maybe we want to get some points here again, beginning the drive in enemy territory.
Yeah, the one thing I didn't like about Northwestern's defense on that play, 4th and 7, they just sat back. They didn't give any disguise. They didn't show any sort of blitz or pressure. So Jake Retzlaff, who's new to the system, You just got to look at a defense and sort of pick them apart there on 4th and 7.
Quick throw out to Preston. And the second-year Alabama transfer will make it 3rd and medium from about the 25-yard line after the tackle by Robert Fitzgerald.
Well, now you're sort of getting in that zone here again. If Tulane picks up a few yards, do you decide to roll the dice again?
142 total yards of offense so far for Tulane, just 76 for Northwestern. Handoff goes to Mobley, cutting back. Mobley puts his head down for a first down, and they won't have to make that decision on 4th. There's some methodical drives here in the first half for Tulane.
And Mobley just sticks that foot in the ground and hits that cutback. A really nice job having that vision and feel for this offense. Another methodical drive. 7 plays. They haven't gotten very far. Just 22 yards. I mean, this was an interception inside plus territory, and yet they're just eating away at the clock. A nice job by this Tulane offense.
And timeout called by Tulane.
I'll tell you one thing. I know it's not as hot and humid in Chicago, and they're certainly wearing out, or at least trying to wear out, this Wildcat defense early in this first half. 10-3 from New Orleans.
Back in New Orleans, Tulane driving after the interception by Preston Stone, his second of the first half. And now the 3rd drive of the game for Tulane of 7 plays or more. 1st and 10 with 6 minutes to go. Retzlaff is taken down, and it's a sack by the future first-rounder Aiden Hubbard.
Well, Matt, we were waiting to call 91's number today off the left side. Unblocked. You can't do that as you're trying to run a naked bootleg. And Mr. Hubbard came to dinner.
12 sacks over the last 2 seasons. Ties for the lead among active Big Ten returners.
You said it. Projected as a potential first-round pick in the NFL draft come April.
Fake it to Turner. Retzlaff had it batted down, and it might have been Richie Haggerty in there. And Brendan Flakes as well with the pressure.
Yeah, I think both of those young men were in the vicinity of Retzlaff and Brendan Flakes. That's a big dude wearing number 15. 6'4", 291. Defensive tackle.
John Summerall would love to get some more yards here to make this a more manageable field goal for Patrick Durkin if they decide to go that route.
And Northwestern's thinking if we can get another sack or a negative play, we could push him out of field goal range.
Watch out, Saka chasing. Flag is down. Retzlaff gets out of bounds. We might have a holding call here on Tulane.
Which would be huge because we're, here you stand at about the 30-yard line. You back them up 10 from there. We're looking at now they're going to replay third down, but it's going to be 3rd and 29.
And well past a 50-yarder for Durkin, who hit from 44. That was his longest last year against Memphis.
Yeah, you can see Derek Graham, 76.
The penalties decline. Result of play, 4th down.
Well, there you have it. You decline the penalty. What are your thoughts on that? Limit the potential for a big gain and get back into field goal position.
I guess there's a couple things, a couple ways to look at that. I don't know. I mean, I would want to make it 3rd and 29 and try to push him out of field goal range with a kicker that, you're not sure his distance.
This will be from 41, inside his career long. Patrick Durkin, the redshirt freshman, out of Plainfield, Illinois, went to Joliet Catholic. Trying to extend the lead for Tulane. And he does from 41. But a win perhaps for Northwestern's defense after Tulane started the drive inside Northwestern territory, holding them to a field goal. Well, for 20 years, All-State has celebrated every field goal and extra point made at participating universities by donating to the university's athletic scholarship fund, supporting all student athletes. Thank you, All-State. Well, Preston Stone, what's going through his mind? The first-year transfer from SMU, 2 interceptions in the first half. At times has looked in rhythm and in command, and at other times Dustin Fox has looked out of sorts in this first half.
Yeah, but you got to remember, give the kid a little bit of grace here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a new program, a lot of pressure. Everyone, that's inside that program, outside that program, they expect such big things from this young man. Hasn't played football in 2 years. Like big time football. Was a starter. And then, gets injured, then gets benched at SMU, and certainly ends up here now at Northwestern. So I haven't been. I'm not trying to be down on the young man. I still think there were some positives we saw from that, especially that one drive that nearly ended up in a touchdown. Let's see if he can just gather himself. The young man's been through so much adversity throughout his career. It's tough to write him off here, a quarter and a half into his start at Northwestern.
You mentioned the adversity. Led SMU to a 10-2 record on the cusp of a potential college football playoff berth. Breaks his leg in the regular season finale in 2023. Comes back as a returning captain in 24. Loses the starting job to Kevin Jennings, who then leads SMU to the college football playoff. Told us it was a very humbling experience that tested him as a leader, a true leader, captaining from the sidelines. Hyman churns ahead, maybe gets 5 or 6, maybe a little bit more. There's that Big Ten offensive line for Northwestern. They give him 8 after he was initially stopped after about 4 of 5.
You better give the hog mollies up front credit for those 8 yards, because pretty sure that Joseph Hyman II was just getting pushed and sort of riding behind the wave against the green wave.
Well, it's an O-line that has significantly improved, in the words of their head coaches. 3 brand new starters. They bring back, of course, the anchor at left tackle, Caleb Tiernan. 2nd and 2. Back to the ground. And Komolafe will get the first down with a lean over the tape.
Well, what they're hoping here for Northwestern is being down 10 points in a game like this. I feel like if you were watching this squad about a year ago, when the offense, as you said in the open, was very anemic, and I agree with you, and I don't think anybody who was a fan of Northwestern is a fan of Northwestern would disagree either. You're hoping that the offense you can at least have the feel that, like, a 10-point lead by your opponent doesn't mean the game's over. Like, they've got time, they can create some big plays, and they feel like Preston can do that.
Stone hits Wilde out of his break, who then gets a couple more yards and out towards the 50.
Well, and that's the combination right there, Wilde and Stone.
15-yard pickup. Now Stone going a little hurry up here. This is the wrinkle to the Northwestern offense. Stone, what a grab underneath by Carson Grove, the true freshman.
Man, first catch of his career.
A diving one.
Great effort. One he won't forget. But again, Matt, back-to-back throws by Preston Stone. You know, big chunk plays. They're moving the ball.
Clock now right around 3 minutes. Still 2 timeouts for Northwestern, plus the 2-minute timeout of the first half. Wildcats will get the football to start the second frame. And that run by Komolafe will make it 3rd and short.
Plenty of options here on 3rd and about 1. You're in plus territory. This is obviously 4-down territory. You're not going to do anything here that's crazy. Komolafe in the game.
Back to him. Shifts past the tackler and has enough to move the chains.
Boy, Matt, you got to think with that offensive line, if you're Zach Lujan, the offensive coordinator of Northwestern, at some point maybe this year you want to maybe implement the tush push in situations like that.
Northwestern driving with 2 minutes left in the first half. You're watching the All-State Saturday kickoff. star in this game. Last year's top 25 defense in the country for Tulane. Picking up right where it left off. Despite all the new starters, a fumble on the first drive of the game, ending in a pick by Jaheim Johnson. And then later, another interception. This time by Kevin Adams III, his second of the career. And now their defense, Dustin Fox, with its back against the wall here. Northwestern driving in enemy territory. 2 minutes left, 2 timeouts, down 10. Stone under duress, throws it away, and was that intercepted? Yes, it was. Javian White with the third takeaway of the first half for Tulane.
I'll have to check the feet, but I think this is going to be a good interception. I just don't know what Stone's thinking here. I mean, he's trying to throw the football away. He's got the pressure inside. Champagne's the one who provides the pressure, and boy, it looks good to me. That's a catch, and that's the third pick of the game.
For a secondary that replaced 3 guys going to the NFL after the 2024 season, what a start for Tulane's secondary. And for Preston Stone, he had just 8 career interceptions at SMU, 3 in the first half of his opening start for Northwestern.
Well, we just highlighted that defense as we came out of break, Matt. We could just add one more clip to that highlight package because they have been absolutely phenomenal this afternoon.
And now Tulane, you got to like your chances. Basically a 2-minute drill with 2 timeouts. And the BYU transfer, who certainly ran plenty of 2-minute drills last year, running the controls.
Well, and the other side of things, too, is, you know, Tulane has the football at the 13-yard line. Northwestern is going to, you know, see what happens in first and second down here, because you may want to use some timeouts and try to get the ball back to get points before half.
Turner bouncing away from the line of scrimmage. Picks up 15 plus.
Wow.
And that opens up the playbook a little bit here for John Summerall and his offensive coordinator, Joe Craddock.
Isn't it amazing? You know, just one guy out of position, out of a gap, and then a play like this happens. You know, Turner busts inside there, and then you got the entire defense kind of collapses. He squirts out the back end, and all of a sudden, what would have been a second and long, and probably a loss, and probably Northwestern calling timeout, leads to, you know, a breakout play, and now Tulane's in business.
Turner a little bit gimpy after that big game. We'll keep an eye on that. Retzlaff takes off under pressure. Has a seam in a foot race. Retzlaff won't be caught today. Touchdown, Tulane. '69-yard touchdown for now, but a flag down at the 15.
Sideline warning, Tulane bench. There's no yardage associated with the warning.
Matt, I got to say, the speed of Retzlaff right there, off the charts. I mean, I knew he had some wheels, but dude looked like he was going about 21 miles an hour.
Had 6 rushing touchdowns last year. That for nearly 70 yards. Major swing in this game. And remember, Tulane will get the football to start the second half. Durkin makes it 20-3, Green Wave. And again, the Green Wave offense for the second time in this game scoring a touchdown after an interception.
Three turnovers, 3 drives with points off of those turnovers, 17 to be exact. Had a field goal in the last drive, and now another touchdown with a 69-yard touchdown run by Retzlaff.
Dustin, knowing Your quarterback has thrown 3 interceptions in the first half. Depending on where Northwestern starts their drive, how aggressive are you with 2 timeouts down 17, knowing you're going to kick it off again to start the second half?
Very aggressive. As aggressive as you can be. I mean, a minute and a half is plenty of time. You've got 2 timeouts. And we know that Preston Stone can move the ball. Just got to stop throwing it to the guys in the green. And it's a great point by you. I mean, Tulane's going to get the football to start the second half. If they somehow, talk about Northwestern, if they don't score in this possession and Tulane does score opening drive the second half, boy, I don't want to say it's over, but man, you're down 17. Imagine being down 24.
Certainly you mentioned this last couple drives ago. Last year, Northwestern coaching staff told us they felt like, man, when we got down 10, there was just some deflation because our offense was unable to move the football and score at a high clip. The difference this year, is they feel like they have an answer at quarterback. They have a better offensive line. They have more weapons outside. We will see how that shakes out over the next half and change.
All that is true. However, those young men on the sideline, you got to hope that they're not sitting there thinking, oh boy, here we go again.
Coming off a 4-8 season with a couple of losses that they felt could have gone the other way. 1st and 10. Stone with time. Now moving the pocket. Still looking, and was that caught by Amarazi? No, his foot was on the line.
You got to wonder what's going through the mind of Preston Stone at this point, man. And you know, being a competitor and knowing the competitor that he is. We had a chance to sit down with the young man yesterday. Very impressive kid, smart. Only threw 8 picks at SMU. So this is certainly one of those days that you're going to learn from and hopefully forget. But I mean, boy, wouldn't it be great for Preston Stone to try to bring these guys back? And what a story that would be.
Blitz up the middle, takes down Stone. Jack Chinchu with the first sack for Tulane.
Well, now Tulane is going to go on the offense and probably start using some of their timeouts. Just a great job, the pressure by Tulane. They've been dialing it up. At times, they dialed it up to start the ball game. Nearly got themselves a sack fumble on the opening play of the game. And right there, another big one.
And now this is what you were concerned about if you're Northwestern. 3rd and super long, still 1 minute and 20 to go, and a timeout left for Tulane. How do you play this if you're Northwestern?
You want to run the ball and make Tulane use their final timeout. I mean, that's the smart play. I mean, you can be as aggressive as you want, but I don't know that, Northwestern, I don't know that they have a play that they can run here that they feel confident with on 3rd and 21. And the last thing you want to do is throw an incomplete pass and leave Tulane with that timeout to potentially get themselves in field goal range to work the middle of the field and call timeout. So that's a big timeout left for the Green Wave.
Joseph Hyman in the backfield with Stone for this 3rd and 21.
And Tulane's fine with giving him a draw and let him pick up 15, 20 yards.
He won't. A nice tackle by Jordan Newman, the transfer from South Alabama. And Tulane will burn its final timeout. Boy, what a swing in this first half. After Northwestern down 7-zip, marched all the way down the field, put 3 points on the board. Looked like Preston Stone had shaken off the early turnover, had some momentum. And Tulane has done all the scoring since, and now has a chance to do it again with 1 minute and 10 and no timeouts. knowing they will get the football to start the third quarter. Luke Akers will boot it away. Omari Hayes will return it inside his own 25, and he is taken down by Mac Uline.
Starting Mike Backer running down on special teams. You got to love that.
Let's take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Verbo, a monster top 3 clash happening right now in Dustin Fox's old neighborhood.
And the Buckeyes in a bit of a dogfight. We expected that to be a tight ball game there. Both teams have excellent defenses and are breaking in a new quarterback. How about the matchup tonight? The Battle of Death Valleys.
Which is the real Death Valley? That's what one of those schools hopes to settle tonight. LSU and Clemson. Cade Klubnik back. Garrett Nussmeier back. Both coaches feel like they are college football playoff ready. Retzlaff the handoff. And goes to Maurice Turner. Good to see him back into the game after he hobbled off the field after a 15-yard gain on their last drive.
All right, they'll let the play. They'll let it run another, 10 seconds here, and then they'll be aggressive. And then that'll determine what they do with their final couple of plays here. If they pick up some sort of a chunk here, Matt, then you'll see him, I think, try to hurry to the ball, spike it, and then be really aggressive.
Turner trying to bounce it outside. He does.
Don't even have to spike it.
Turner goes out of bounds after a collision on the Tulane sideline. Met by Robert Fitzgerald, has a first down.
Yeah, all of the Tulane sideline they're begging the officials for a late hit. And there was some contact right at the end.
Took out a police officer on the Tulane sideline. 16 seconds left in the opening half.
You can still work the middle of the field here, Matt, and then get up and spike it.
17 points off 3 turnovers. There is Justin Reed. Battles for a first down out across midfield. Clock will stop.
Justin Reed.
And Retzlaff kills it.
Hail Mary time.
Oh.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you're midfield. Retzlaff has a strong enough arm. You want to get, your big guys in there and take one shot at the end zone.
Second down and 10 from the 50.
Well,
and it's a chance to practice something you may need at some point during the year.
We've seen him run it for 69 yards and a touchdown. Does he have a 50-yard bomb to the house up his sleeve?
Oh, the arm is strong enough. We'll see what Northwestern does in terms of pressure.
They bring 6. Retzlaff will take off. He does have room. Cuts it midfield. Retzlaff is upended by Robert Fitzgerald with a potential touchdown-saving tackle after a gain of 33 to close the opening half.
Well, it's going to help the stat sheet because now he's over 100 yards rushing for the day.
What a start for Tulane. 3 interceptions, 17 points off turnovers. They lead it by 17 at the break. Welcome back to the All-State Saturday Kickoff. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN on the banks of the Mississippi River. A steamy Saturday afternoon, the first of college football in the South. And the Tulane Green Wave with 3 interceptions of SMU transfer quarterback Preston Stone in the first half, capitalizing. They lead it by 17 at the break as we welcome you back to Yulman Stadium. Matt Schumacher, the Ohio State Buckeye alum. Dustin Fox, and 17 points off 3 turnovers.
Yeah. Tulane
leads by 17. That has been the story of the game so far.
Look, this game is 20-3. It seems like it could be a blowout. It's not that far away for Northwestern. You know, if Stone can just take care of the football a little bit better, maybe take away one of these interceptions. Here's the first one of the day. That was the opening drive of the ball game. Comes back with another one. And again, remember, this one right here, the last one, they were driving to go try to make it a 13-10 ball game. Instead, interception. Tulane takes it down 20-3 here at halftime. And Jake Retzlaff was just absolutely phenomenal in the first half, not just with his arm. There's a touchdown to Reed, but he does it with his legs. Ends up with over 100 yards rushing in the first half. Most of it comes on the touchdown run, 69 yards. And he ended up with a 33-yard run to end the first half. But nonetheless, a very impressive start for a young man who transfers in from BYU. The other young man, Preston Stone, transfers in from SMU, and he's had a rough start to his debut here for the Wildcats.
Those 104 rushing yards for Retzlaff, nearly what Northwestern's offense gained combined in the first half. Tulane deferred to start the game. They get the ball to start the second half. And really couldn't have asked for a better start for this Tulane team, offensively or defensively. A group that brought in 60 new players this year, including Jake Retzlaff, replacing transfer quarterback Darian Mensah, who left for Duke in the offseason. Won a tightly contested quarterback battle with Brennan Sullivan, Caden Simonza, Donovan Leary. 4 transfer quarterbacks coming in. Retzlaff was the last to join late July, won the starting job. And he has made this coaching staff look like they made the right decision through the first half of football.
I mean, this was an open competition throughout training camp, and Retzlaff, who has been here the least, wins the job.
As Johnny Pascuzzi, the Iowa transfer, put on scholarship this year for the first time in his collegiate career. And a Northwestern player down after the play. It is Garner Wallace, the 5th-year safety. Wallace made that stick, and some friendly fire there with Giannis Karlaftis, the transfer from Purdue. Good to see Wallace walking off under his own power. Second and 2 for a Tulane team that actually trailed in time of possession in the first half, but they were more efficient with their possessions. Here's Maurice Turner trying to spin ahead for a gain of 1 or 2, and he will be short of the first down marker after the tackle by Braden Bruss.
Boy, Braden Bruss was like shot out of a cannon here. Shoots his gap. Goes, makes the stop. They mark it just shy of the line to gain.
Retzlaff exits the game. We're going to have a Wildcat formation here for Tulane. Second time we've seen it today. Maurice Turner lines up at quarterback with Duda Barnes. Turner keeps. And leaps. Did he get enough for the first down? Yes.
Pretty good effort here at the end of this run by Maurice Turner. Extra effort to gain the first down. Back in comes Retzlaff here with the new set of downs.
Running back room was a big question mark this year for Tulane as well, losing the second leading rusher in the American Conference, Mekhi Hughes, to Oregon. Retzlaff had that tipped and incomplete.
It's Karlaftis who gets a hand on the football. Does a nice job there because frankly, Matt, I think if that ball's not tipped, may have been completed on the outside to Anthony Brown-Stevens, who was behind the defense.
How do you view this possession for both teams? First possession of the second half, given the score.
I hate to say that it would be a nail in the coffin for Northwestern if Tulane gets a touchdown here. But man, the way that Tulane's defense has swarmed to the football, the way they played so aggressive, I just think they'd pin their ears back even more.
Watch out for Duda Barnes, who runs hard up the gut for a first down after a gain of 11.
And Duda Barnes, coaching staff there at Tulane, John Summerall was talking to us yesterday. He said that guy, not only, I mean, he's nicknamed Duda, but he's a bruiser. And you saw it right there at the end of that run.
Ran for 400 yards last year. That is caught by Amari Hayes. The fifth catch for Hayes, now up over 60 yards receiving for the FAU transfer.
Well, it's got to be so frustrating for this Northwestern defense because you feel like you're doing everything you can. You're trying to stop the run. You're stacking the box when necessary. You get yourselves in situations where you feel like you can get off the field, and then Tulane, they're just dicing them up. Retzlaff looks like he's been a seasoned veteran in this offense for years.
Barnes lowers the shoulder, tackled by Uline. I talked about it at the beginning of the show, Dustin, but this was a top 25 team last year. Not only in terms of AP ranking, but in terms of offensive and defensive rankings. One of the most explosive offenses, certainly, in the American Conference. And with all of the new additions, really impressive to see how they've come out to start this season.
Yeah, and the way that they ended last year, kind of with a whimper, it was deflating for this program, and things have certainly changed here as you got an outside run by Duda.
Good tackle by Garner Wallace, and good to see him back into the game after he left with a apparent injury.
But for this program to lose 3 games in a row and then to bounce back the way that they have today, very impressive. And I think it speaks volumes to Coach Summerall's approach. Looking back at last year and saying, what did we do wrong? What can we do better? And a lot of that soul searching's created this new identity for this football team that, they're going to be transparent about everything in terms of the outside noise and try to eliminate the distractions.
Retzlaff keeps and continues this methodical opening drive to start the second half. That's a great point. John Summerall told us coming into this season, he did not shy away from speaking about potential distractions. Not only his name in the running for P4 jobs, but the fact that, hey guys, at this level, P4s are going to come and try to recruit you into the portal. That happened last year. He told us he didn't do a good enough job about speaking to those distractions inside the locker room.
Well, you got to remember, I mean, these kids, these young men, all have cell phones and social media. They hear all the outside noise. You can't hide anything from these players. And so with that being said, now it's like, well, we're a family. This stuff comes up. Like, let's not just have an elephant be in the room. Let's talk about it. Mari Hayes going to have to come out.
6 catches for Hayes. One of 60 new players for Tulane this year.
I just, at this point now, I mean, if you're Northwestern, you got to be thinking, how do we stop these guys? I mean, they can pretty much do anything that they want, and they're fine with just being, I think we said methodical 100 times in this game. It's exactly what they're doing.
Aiden Hubbard on the stop, brings up 3rd down. If you're Tulane, the way you've moved the ball, do you think about this being 4-down territory?
I think with Coach Summerall, you always have that consideration depending on what the down and distance ends up being. I mean, is it 4th and what? 4th and 2? Where are you at on the field?
Yeah.
They've already gone for it once on 4th and 7 when they were just kind of on that gray area, being inside of field goal range or outside of field goal range, and they converted that one earlier in the second quarter.
They are 2 for 2 on 3rd downs in this drive. 3rd and 5. Retzlaff rolling. Has Hayes, who's back into the game after losing his helmet. And another first down. I think they found their answer at wide receiver. Remember, this is a team that lost a whole bunch of production out wide. Their top 4 pass catchers, both the graduation, the NFL, and the portal. He's one of a plethora of new players on the outside for Tulane this year.
Man, we're now 6 minutes plus into this drive here to open the second
Tulane's
half.
had the ball the entire 3rd quarter. Remarkable. Here's Bohannon, and he is chopped down at the line of scrimmage by Braden Turner. Defensively, Dustin, you played corner in the Big Ten. How frustrating is it to look up at the clock and see you've been on defense for 7 minutes?
Well, it's very frustrating, especially when you do get off the field and you give the football back to your offense and you don't see them go down and do exactly what, you know, the opposing team's offense is doing. That is where it gets to be kind of a snowball effect of frustration.
Retzlaff on 2nd and 10 underneath, and incomplete, looking for Turner.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll give you some positive for Northwestern right there in that play. I mean, that was a really terrific job by Braden Bruss, who plays the wheelbacker position for Northwestern. Very athletic, has kind of, you know, waited, has bided his time, and now he's playing. And that was a tough matchup. You know, you're right there with, you know, Maurice Turner in the flat, stays with him, ball thrown a little bit behind, good coverage.
Maurice Turner in motion, 15th play of the drive, 3rd and 10.
Be a heck of a win to get off the field with the field goal attempt here if you're Northwestern.
Underneath, Turner trying to use his legs, and he gets about half of the yardage needed, and the field goal unit will come on for Tulane.
I mean, what more can you say, though, for Northwestern's defense? If you hold them to 3 points here, in, you know, whether they make this kick or not, they've had the ball for nearly 8 minutes.
16-play drive, and now Patrick Durkin comes on. Alec Clark, the holder. Jason Arredondo, the long snapper. 31-yarder for Tulane. And Durkin puts it through. A 20-point lead for Tulane. Can Northwestern get some momentum? We find out next. Jackson Square, just outside of downtown New Orleans, a historic landmark in this beautiful city. Right down the road from uptown, where Tulane leads it 23-3 over a Power 4 opponent. And right now, according to ESPN Analytics, they have the best shot entering the opening weekend of college football to make the college football playoff. Last year, we felt that about them too, Dustin. They had a couple of close losses to Oklahoma and Kansas State. Again this year, their schedule sets up to give them a real opportunity with 3 Power 4 opponents over the first 4 weeks, handling business week 1.
Just taking a peek at the schedule here for the Green Wave. South Florida not on the schedule,
which is helpful with the way they handle Boise State.
Which means that, you know, at the end of the season, we could have a big-time American Conference championship. But that's a long way away, partner.
It sure is. And Northwestern's hoping to make it longer as Preston Stone comes back onto the field. But you look at Tulane's schedule. They've got South Alabama, always a competitive Group of 5 team. Darian Mensah, their former starting quarterback, returns with Duke on the 13th. And then a potentially monster showdown in Oxford, Mississippi against Ole Miss. Could Tulane potentially be ranked for that matchup on September 20th?
They will be if they're 3-0. They will be if they're 3-0.
Stone on the bootleg, and he is caught by Wilde. And that might be the biggest gain of the day through the air for Northwestern.
Well, that combination between Wilde and Preston Stone has been a pretty good one. I mean, that's been a bit of a silver lining to this performance thus far in this game. You just need to see more of that. And again, they've had good drives. They've moved the ball. They just, at inopportune times, Matt, they've turned the ball over.
22-yard pickup is the longest pass completion of the day. And then right back to the ground with Cam Porter.
And Porter's the bell cow of that running back room, and he's been quiet thus far in this game.
If you're just joining us, this is in fact the first drive of the second half for Northwestern. That's how long Tulane's opening drive was. 16 plays resulted in a field goal. The possessions of this game have really been chopped down with long drives by both teams. Tulane has been more efficient with those drives to this point. On 2nd and 5, zipped to Frank Covey, and it's incomplete. Incomplete after the hit by Jaheim Johnson.
See, it's just a little hesitation route there on the inside, and the hit by Johnson, who's already had an interception today, nearly had another one that was dropped. And that's a huge pass breakup right there. That's going to bring up a big 3rd down. And frankly, it's a 20-point game, Matt. 4-down territory here.
3rd and 5 at midfield. Stone behind Covey. Now does David Braun decide to go for it on 4th down? He's keeping his offense out there.
Well, the last drive was 8 minutes and change, right? So there's 5:56 left to go in this quarter. You're down 3 scores. I'm not saying that Tulane's going to do that every drive, but if you don't convert something here, how many possessions are left in the ball game?
Not many. Play clock down to 3. Stone with heat is incomplete, looking for Amarazi, and there are no flags. Turnover on downs for Tulane.
And the pressure again, Matt. Santana Hopper, 29 in the face of Preston Stone, and the Tulane defense steps up big.
20 years since Hurricane Katrina here in the city of New Orleans. All week long there have been events around the city and on campus commemorating the 20th anniversary and honoring the student athletes that participated in the 2005-2006 athletic season, including the Tulane football team, which today is wearing green helmets without a decal and the 3 fleur-de-lis sticker on the back, symbolizing the flag of New Orleans. Had a chance to chat with some folks around the program that were here during that 2005 season. Really remarkable that Tulane even played. Their city underwater, the doors to their school closed. Dustin, they moved the team to Ruston, Louisiana, home of Louisiana Tech. They lived in a condemned dorm and yet still played 11 games that fall.
I mean, you got to give credit to the student athletes, the coaches, the administration, everyone involved that had to deal with that unfortunate situation, that tragedy. I mean, football was not necessarily a priority. I mean, there was a thought that maybe they didn't come back with the football program. And since, you know, obviously they get the new stadium, they're doing so many great things here on this beautiful campus. And I got to tell you, man, for any state, I don't care who you are. I mean, this is a really cool venue, perfectly sized for what they do down here in New Orleans. And I think that they pack this place out week in and week out.
Good crowd on hand for this opener against Northwestern. Last time Tulane beat a Big Ten team was Northwestern in 1956. Retzlaff has been a huge help in the effort to pick up another Big Ten win.
Will Northwestern touch the football before the fourth quarter again?
Only for a minute and a half. Their first drive of the second half. The question is, can they do it again?
Will they get it again? Is my sense. You got 5 minutes here until, you know, the fourth quarter begins. And Tulane now they're taking their time, which why wouldn't you?
Retzlaff against a 3-man rush, in and out of the hands of Zy Carl Lewis Jr.
Well, the answer is yes, Matt, they will.
You don't even think about going for it here if you're
Why would you?
John
I mean, you're at this point, you're thinking we can pin him inside the 20. How many drives do they have even in plus territory today?
Well, particularly the way his defense is played. No. They've been impenetrable.
No. I feel like the only way that Northwestern, maybe at this point, with the limited time remaining, gets back in the game would be a turnover or turnover on downs.
Punt into the end zone off the foot of Alec Clark. Touchback for Northwestern. Was looking for answers from their transfer quarterback Preston Stone. Can he lead a drive? On Thursday night, Darian Mensah, the former Tulane Green Wave quarterback, debuted for his new team, the Duke Blue Devils, and he looked sharp. 389 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns in a 45-17 rout of Elon. In a couple weeks, level of competition is going to step up substantially for Darian Mensah and Duke. Meanwhile, here's Cam Porter busting a run out near midfield for the Wildcats. Good start on this drive. Darian Mensah will come to Tulane rather, with his new team, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2, September 13th. Monster game for both teams, particularly for his former team, Dustin Fox, if they want to stay in the running as the highest ranked group of 5 automatic qualifier for the college football playoff.
So wild that this young man transfers to Duke and has an opportunity to come back here the very next year and play primetime game here at Yeoman.
Chase Farrell, his first touch. The Stanford transfer who ran 10:38 in the 100-meter dash and as a high schooler. They want to get him the ball more, Dustin Fox, this year.
10:38 is Olympic caliber speed. I mean, that for a high schooler, goodness gracious.
Quickly, Stone, that pass was caught and then fumbled by Alex Lyons, luckily out of bounds for Northwestern.
It's quick that he definitely had control of the football.
Do they have to score here before the end of the third quarter?
I don't know if they have to score before the end of the third quarter, but they have to score in this drive.
Yeah. And it's got to be 6.
Yes. Yeah, three points is getting you nothing.
Stone over the middle. There was contact, but no call on the collision between Amarazi and Johnson. Incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, there's a little contact there early on that route on the outside. Johnson and Amarazi, the intended target.
In a cleanly played game from a penalty standpoint. Of course, the 3 turnovers in the first half for Preston Stone. Looking and contact again, but Johnson deflected the ball.
Yeah, there was a lot of contact by Johnson there, working against, again, Amarazi, number 10. Kind of comes through the back. I thought that may have been a flag. But again, no call.
Thinking 2 plays to get 10 yards if you're Northwestern.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to get a first down. There's no way you're putting this football back to Tulane.
They go to the ground. Porter bouncing it outside. Diving for a first down, and he is stopped short by Bailey Despaney. And that will bring up 4th and 2.
Pretty good play design to get outside. And you give yourself a chance. I mean, by picking up 8 yards on that 3rd down here, there's a lot of options here. And you don't have to put the football in the air.
They will. Pressure comes. Stone heaves. It is broken up by Jaheim Johnson. And again, Tulane's defense gets off the field.
Boy, give this man some sort of an award for having his Wheaties today, because this dude is balling from the cornerback position. Jaheim Johnson already with the interception, has had multiple pass breakups throughout this game, 2 on this drive alone, and he's fired up. When we chatted with the coaching staff at Tulane before this ball game, and Greg Gasparotto, their defensive coordinator, was just raving about Jaheim Johnson and talking about how this guy has such high upside and is poised for a prime for a big season.
Nicknamed Joker.
That's a cool nickname.
Especially in the secondary. Ensuing drive for Tulane. And if you are just joining us, they have milked the clock all game long with methodical drive after methodical drive. The third quarter has been no different. They have had the ball for 8.5 minutes compared to Northwestern's 3.5 in the third quarter. Javen Gordon, the former Duke commit who flipped to Tulane, gets his first carry, the true freshman. Toccoa, Georgia, brings up third down. This team picking up right where it left off last year, a top 25 offense in the country.
What do they say? Roll wave?
Roll wave.
Well,
boy, have they.
They've been rolling.
Third and 2. Bootleg. Retzloff overthrows Gordon. And now the punt unit thinking about coming onto the field for Tulane, and they will.
They didn't think too long about this decision. They're near midfield, but they've got a 20-point lead, and they continue to make Northwestern work for everything offensively.
That's a win for Northwestern's defense, which has been on the field a long time in this third quarter. 3 and out. Drew Wagner back deep to return. Does have a return for a touchdown in his career. And will fair catch it at about his own 14. You know, Dustin Fox, Preston Stone was a highly touted recruit in the portal. It has not been his day with 3 interceptions. Their offense has looked anemic at times. Do you even entertain the thought of going somewhere else at the quarterback position for the fourth quarter and change?
Not right now. Not being down 3 scores. I mean, if this thing gets away from them, or they're still down 3 scores with, I don't know, half of the fourth quarter remaining, maybe at that point you bring Ryan Bowe into the ball game. We know he's a very talented young man, a freshman, redshirt freshman from Batavia, Illinois, who they feel really strongly about his future. But I just don't know that at this point you want to take the transfer out of the game where he's having arguably his worst game, at least in terms of, you know, 3 interceptions, most interceptions he's ever thrown in a ball game. I don't know that you do that. I mean, he's a captain.
Pass interference, defense number 20. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
Well, Johnson's got away with so much contact today that, you know, when you're a corner, Matt, and you play physical the way that Johnson is on the outside, and you're not seeing the yellow flags come out, you play more aggressive and more aggressive and more. You start to say, well, what can I get away with? And I know this because I did it. And that's exactly no question. I led the Big Ten in pass interference. I think I've mentioned that before. I didn't get away with much.
Stone incomplete. He was looking for Joseph Hyman. By the way, that was the first defensive penalty of the game on Tulane.
Clean game.
Very. Mo Westmoreland with the deflection, one of their very talented transfers, led Conference USA in sacks last year at UTEP. Hand off to Komalafe. And a 3rd and long situation upcoming for Northwestern. Do they get another playoff before the end of the third quarter?
Do they even want to? Maybe it's a big. This could be the biggest 3rd and 8 of the game. And well, they're going to try. Here we go.
Stone, a long throw, connects with Covey, and that could have been a much bigger gain had he not slipped.
Wow.
On the Tulane sideline, but enough for a first down.
Well, Covey was going to have one man to beat. And that man was Kevin Adams coming over from the weak safety spot. And right as Covey turns upfield, he goes down.
Northwestern with a little bit of momentum here. Down 20 as we head to the fourth quarter.
The college football playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the national championship January 19th on ESPN.
Welcome back to New Orleans, the start of the fourth quarter, the opening weekend of college football presented by Allstate. All Tulane Green Wave. They have rolled in this game. And if you're just joining us on ESPNU, this game at one point was 7-3. Tulane with 3 interceptions. They've scored 17 points off of those picks. They have dominated every facet of this game to this point. Preston Stone complete to Wilde. Shakes past one tackler and out across midfield. Nice gain on first down. This drive has had a little bit more promise beginning at the end of the third quarter for Northwestern, who desperately needs 7 on this drive.
That's a heck of a play by Sam Howard. Northwestern ends up picking up the first down. Haven't called Howard's name too much this afternoon, but the senior transfer from Austin Peay is one player that I'm sure Tulane fans are going to be talking about this season.
Stone checks it down to Joseph Hyman II. Well, that's because the star of the show defensively has been the Tulane secondary, and in particular Jaheim Johnson.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of talk about Tulane replacing all those guys in the secondary in the back end. These guys look pretty darn good to me.
Lost 3 players to the NFL, including Caleb Ransaw, who was third-round pick. And, of course, they also lost Rayshon Pleasant, the safety, to Auburn. Big 3rd down and 3 here. It goes to Hyman, right up the cut and upended after a 1st down run. Jack Chinchu from the safety position made the stop.
Hyman is one of those players who just has the ability to find a small hole, get through it, picks up the 1st down.
Picks up the blitz, long throw to Wilde. It's intercepted! Unbelievable! Number 4! And it's Javian White with his 2nd of the day. Whoa! Foxy, could you script it up any better for this Tulane secondary?
Well, I mean, we literally just said it moments ago, how much I've been so impressed with the way these guys have played. They lost 3 guys to the league, and yet here they are, 4 picks to start the season. I mean, as a former defensive back, I mean, this is like heaven watching this clinic. Turn your head, find the football, picked off.
Year career at SMU. It has been one thing after another, and credit to this Tulane defense. They've mixed coverages, they've brought blitz packages, they have looked every bit the part of a top 25 defense, which they were a year ago. Well, don't forget, opening weekend of college football rolls on the rest of the weekend, including 2 more games today on ABC, and then the big one tomorrow, a top 10 showdown between Notre Dame and Miami. A new era begins for Alabama tonight against Florida State. Jalen Milroe moving on to the NFL. Ty Simpson named his replacement. And then that battle of Death Valleys, LSU and Clemson. A lot of new quarterbacks for Power 4 teams around the country. Arch Manning in a battle right now with Julian Sayin, a 14-0 lead for Ohio State. Gunnar Stockton replacing Carson Beck, who moved on to Miami. CJ Carr and Dante Moore manning the controls now at Notre Dame and Oregon. Of the group of 5 here, Dustin Fox.
Yes.
Who do you think has the most upside for their team this year?
You don't want to ask me.
Is that obvious? Okay, fine. You can't pick Ohio State. So out of that 4, Texas, Oregon, Notre Dame.
Well, listen, Arch Manning's going to be a hell of a football player, is a hell of a football player, but he's going up against a really good defense today, and he's struggling. But, I mean, this is a guy that could win the Heisman Trophy. I mean, they're going to play unbelievable schedule in the SEC, and I'm sure he's going to play well. I mean, there's a reason why people are talking about Texas potentially winning a national championship, Arch Manning potentially being the number 1 quarterback in the draft. Like, all these things are legit. And just run into a little bit of a buzzsaw today. And the game's not over. They're in Columbus down 14-0 in the second half. But I mean, it's just been a tough day for Arch. I think he's going to be a really good player for the Longhorns.
Okay, let me ask you this, and maybe this is an overreaction, but as a fan of the sport, I would be asking this question. If the score remains 14-zip, do you still see Texas as the front runner to win the national championship?
I like Georgia a lot.
Okay.
I do. I got to see more Stockton.
They play today at 3 o'clock on ESPN, taking on Marshall out of the Sun Belt. 3rd and 3. Was it enough for a first down? They will move the chains. This has been a dominant effort by Tulane on both sides of the football, and Dustin, maybe most surprisingly, in the trenches. They felt like Northwestern was going to try to play Big Ten ball, bully them up front, and in large part they've been unable to.
One team looks like a Big Ten team. One team looks like a Group of 5 team. And it's not who you think.
Javen Gordon, the true freshman, former 3-star, now in a running back. They are very excited about this young man in a deep running back room, replacing Mekhi Hughes, second leading rusher in the American Conference last year, transferred to Oregon.
I mean, Mekhi Hughes is a heck of a football player, and had 2 back-to-back years where he was as good as anybody in the country here for the Green Wave. But it doesn't matter. I mean, the job that Coach Summerall has done, retooling, regrouping, whatever you want to call it, replenishing, you know, all the talent, they've just done a tremendous job at key positions.
Great run there by Gordon to move the chains.
Goodness gracious.
Oh, the thing about John Summerall, coming over from Troy a couple of years ago, replacing the American Conference Coach of the Year, Willie Fritz, is that he's a winner, Dustin Fox, and he recruits winners. He is 4th amongst active coaches with a 780 win percentage. The others in that group, Ryan Day, Dan Lanning, Kirby Smart. That is a who's who of college coaches right now.
Well, and he's done a great job, you know, keeping this program rolling, you know, after Willie Fritz. And Willie deserves a lot of credit because he certainly has got the program, you know, back to where they want to be. But Coach Summerall, I mean, goodness gracious, I mean, he turned down multiple P4 opportunities last year, like job offers to stay here because, you know, you got a family, you got you know, more things to think about than just a payday for now. Like, this program has really built something here that I think he wants to be a part of, and certainly as the folks who support the university, folks in administration, like, all of a sudden winning becomes contagious. And that's something that everybody wants to be a part of.
Willie Fritz had this program in their greatest 2-run stretch in program history. He left. John Summerall's come on, and like, the transition has gone about as smoothly as you could ask for. And that is in and out of the hands of Trey Shackelford, maybe a little bit behind the Washington State transfer. 3rd and 9 for Tulane.
I think it's one of the 3 miscues that Tulane's had all day. And the other 2 were 2 drops at the goal line.
3rd and 9 from the 27.
Well, if Northwestern has any hope to get back in the game, they've got to get a stop right here.
Mobley joins Retzlaff in the backfield. Stretch, twist, and it is a stop for the Northwestern defense, and credit to them. They've come up with a string of stops here against Tulane, who opened the second half with a field goal and have not scored since. Well, we've talked at length about Tulane's schedule. They will have South Alabama, then Duke and Ole Miss, a big stretch of 4 games to open their season. And again, this is a program that feels internally like they have a chance to make the college football playoff. Externally, around America, ESPN Analytics feels like they have the best chance entering the weekend after the Boise State loss to be that Group of 5 qualifier. And remember, last year they dominated the American Conference. Double-digit win after double-digit win. They had 6 games of 40-plus points. Dustin, they rattled off 8 in a row.
Matt, I'm looking at a schedule right there where I don't see a lot of losses. I mean, I don't want to play the scheduled game week 1, but I watched Army play last night. I know it's week 1, it's 1 game. But I just don't think they're the same team that they were a year ago, losing their quarterback. They don't have to play South Florida in the regular season. I mean, that Duke game's going to be tough, and the Ole Miss game's going to be tough. After that, they've got, I think they'll be favorites in almost every game.
The one that could be interesting, depending on how their seasons unfold, November 7th at Memphis. Remember, the Tigers beat Tulane last year at the end of the regular season, part of their 3-game slide.
You don't think that's going to be a circle,
it's a circle
on the
game.
calendar of Coach Summerall?
No doubt. Big circle game.
How about that big punt?
It will go all the way to the end zone. 70 yards for Alec Clark, rather. Touchback, Northwestern football when we come back. Tulane Green Wave rolling in Nala.
to you by Allstate. You're in good hands.
Four interception day for Tulane for the first time since they did it against Nichols in September of 2023. And Javian White had 2 picks. First time a Tulane player has done that in a game since 2020. The defense has flown around all day. 4 interceptions, 4 pass breakups, a forced fumble. It was a top 25 defense a year ago, and they replaced all but 3 starters. But boy, this is a very encouraging start for Tulane on both sides of the football, and now their defense is back out there against Preston Stone and Northwestern. No timeouts for the Wildcats. 9:26 to go, facing a 20-point deficit on the road. Stone with pressure. Hopper with the sack. The all-Sun Belt first-teamer a year ago. The dude in the middle for Tulane with the takedown.
Santana Hopper is just a bad man. I mean, if you're not going to put another body on him or double team him, he's going to get home every single time. And that young man is a breath of fresh air to this defense. They love this young man.
Incomplete at the feet of Farrell.
Boy, that ball is just not coming out the way it looks like it should out of Preston Stone's hands.
And the way that it looked like it came out of his hands in 2023 when he went 10-2 as the starter at SMU. By the way, that year led the American Conference in passer rating and passing touchdowns. Something has looked different today, most certainly for Preston Stone.
I mean, I would just try to run a screen pass here or something to try to slow down the rush of the Green Wave.
Stone escapes, looking, dart. Oh, and it's in and out of the hands of Frank Covey IV. Could have been a first down, and instead Northwestern is probably going to have to punt here.
You have to. I mean, this is 4th and 23. If you don't convert a 4th and 23, I mean, you're giving them basically a touchdown.
That pass had the most zip on it that I think we've seen all day from Preston Stone. That was a surefire first down.
It had zip, but boy, it was not a pretty ball. It was a duck. It's just the way it's coming out of his hand. It just doesn't look. It doesn't look the way that it did. And I don't know if it. I mean, you give credit to Tulane. They're putting a lot of pressure on the young man, but it's just been a struggle.
Amari Hayes fair catches it right around the 50, and that is where Tulane will come back and try to run this out. A dominant performance by the team from the American Conference. AT&T keeps us connected with today's best moment in the first half. Jake Retzlaff, first-year transfer from BYU, a 69-yard house call. Longest rushing touchdown of his career. The previous was 29, and that completely flipped the dynamic of this game. He's the second Tulane player in the last 20 years with 100-plus passing and rushing yards in the single game. The other was Justin McMillan against UCF in 2019. Flips it to Maurice Turner, and he is stacked up for a loss.
0, Maurice Turner on the carry.
And again, we've talked about it, Dustin Fox, but this was a heated quarterback battle. It was thought of that Brennan Sullivan, Caden Simmons, and Donovan Leary were going to compete for the starting job. And then in late July, Retzlaff decided to enter the portal, signed with Tulane, and he was not given the keys. He had to earn it in a heated battle in fall camp.
You think there's any schools in the country that had a quarterback room full of 4 portal transfers that were not on the roster the previous season?
Tulane was one of 3 this year at the FBS level. The other 2, Coastal Carolina and Ole Miss, who Tulane will face on the road week 4.
You guys are all over it. Even our producer Aaron Owens.
But that's not many. And then you add in the other transfers that they brought in. Remember, this is a team that brought back 2 starters on offense from last year, both on the offensive line. No returning skill position starters for the Green Wave this year.
And a lot of people, I think, outside the program felt like, hey, you know, this offensive line, they got to replace the center and the right side. And somehow Coach Summerall feels like they might even be better up front because of, you know, they had Holyfield, who transferred in from App State. And so that center position is solidified. And then you got a couple dudes on the right side that are, you know, good players, very talented, inexperienced. Left side still solid. Those guys return. And then you bring in an experienced quarterback like Retzlaff. Man, I think there's a lot of upside for this team. And I'm not like just trying to sell you the hype of them winning the American and being a team to compete for the playoffs. But like what I've seen so far, they've got the dudes. They've got the talent.
This was a big measuring stick game, taking on a Power 4 team to start their season. Previously, John Summerall, as a head coach, 0-5 against Power 4 teams. He was reminded of that ad nauseum this week, leading up to the opener. And what a punt by Alec Clark down inside the 1-yard line. A 45-yard boot. And a long field to go for Northwestern. Amani Cargo downed it right in front of the goal line for Tulane.
Gotta love it as a punter when you get the ball down there and it takes a little backspin, like you got a pitching wedge. You get that sucker to check up right inside the 1-yard line. Great job.
Special teams was a real strength of Tulane last year. They had 6 special teams touchdowns, and the coverage unit today has been phenomenal.
Well, no question about that. They also feel like they've got 2 really good, you know, kicker punter. You know, that situation's really, really strong for them as well.
There was movement on both sides. Evan Bernston, the offensive lineman for Northwestern, who moved, but was he drawn offsides?
Offense number 60. Have to go the distance. First down.
6-inch penalty.
If it could go awry today for Northwestern, it has. Their defense has done a phenomenal job to keep it a 20-point game, given where this started at halftime. A 20-3 lead for Tulane. They've allowed just 3 points. But Tulane's defense has not allowed Northwestern to score since the 3rd drive of the game. Are you surprised, Dustin, with how dominant the Green Wave has been today?
I guess there's a part of me that just, and maybe there's other fans that feel this way as well. You know, I grew up and still live in Big Ten territory. And you see a Big Ten team and you just feel like they should have bigger, stronger, faster than some of these Group of Fives. But that's changed, Matt. And, you know, the portal, the NIL, all of that has changed the landscape of college football where, and I don't care who the heck you are, you know, conference realignment, you've got a million teams in the Big Ten. If you're near the bottom of the Big Ten, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're just going to be, you know, walk all over teams like the Green Wave. I mean, these guys are legitimately going to compete for a spot in the playoffs.
It was the first time since 1995 that Tulane was actually favored against a Power 4 program.
That surprised a lot of people, too. Nearly a touchdown favorite in this game.
And it'll be the first win for Tulane against a Big Ten opponent since Elvis Presley released his first 2 albums in 1956. Good way to start the year for John Summerall, who will also pick up his first win against a Power 4 team as a head coach.
Which albums were those, Matt?
Let me check back in with you in a couple minutes there, partner.
I'm kidding, partner. Just trying to keep you on your toes. I mean, you guys embarrassed me with your knowledge of all the transfer quarterbacks.
Here's my excuse. I wasn't alive back then.
Same. Even though you probably think I was.
2nd and 4, 4.5 minutes to play. Stone with time. Underneath and in and out of the hands of Covey.
Even that throw can't be caught. I mean, that's a good throw. Covey, two drops. Big drops. Last possession and now right there on that 2nd down would have been an easy completion for a 1st down. Yeah, you had to you know, go to the ground for the ball, but that's right in the breadbasket. Got to catch it.
Unproven wide receiver room. You mentioned in the first half, Covey, the most tenured wide receiver on the roster. He had 10 catches in his career before the day. Seeing Griffin Wilde, the South Dakota State transfer, with a couple of big catches, but frankly, not enough opportunity for this team out wide today. 3rd and 4. Stone hits Wilde right at the sticks for a 1st down.
Not all 11 players were set before the snap. Northwestern, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, Tulane's schedule certainly packed with enticing matchups. Duke and Ole Miss, and playing in the Big Ten, no shortage of top 10 opponents. September 13th, number 7 Oregon comes Lakeside to Chicago, and then on the 11th you got to go play in Happy Valley against number 2 Penn State, who many are picking to win the Big Ten this year. Swing pass out to Komalafe, gets a lot of that loss back after the 5-yard penalty. Makes it 2nd and short. And I beg your pardon, that was Joseph Hyman the 2nd. But if you're Northwestern and you're a fan of Northwestern, how do you regroup, Dustin, and feel confident going into those top 10 games given what happened here today?
Well, I mean, listen, you got a game next week against the Leathernecks of Western Illinois. FCS opponent. They're coming to your place. I mean, you look at that as a get-right game. Try and figure out what the heck they're going to be this season. Look at the tape from today, learn from it, wash it, forget about it, and move on. Maybe you don't even watch the tape if you're Preston Stone.
Foul, correction, unnecessary roughness, defense number 10, 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
Gerard Henderson whistled for the infraction and still down after the play. Joseph Hyman, the second, their electric playmaker out of the backfield. Good to see him up and moving off the field on his own 2 feet. So 15-yard penalty moves Northwestern out across midfield. They are still looking for their first score since midway through the first quarter. It has been tough sledding for a team that ranked bottom 5 in the FBS in points per game last year. Less than 18 points per game. 4 interceptions for Preston Stone today. If you're just joining us, that is half of his career total at SMU before transferring over this season.
At the 46-yard line, game of 2, 2nd and 8.
Stone flushed, lost the football, and it's recovered by Tulane. Trayvon McAlpine, the Texas Tech transfer, with the 5th takeaway of the day for the Green Wave.
Well, maybe you just want to burn the tape, Matt. If you're Northwestern and you're Preston Stone, I mean, maybe you don't even want to watch this tape. You just say, you know, that game never happened, because this is just bad ball security. You got to take care of the football. You know that Tulane, their defense, they're so aggressive. It doesn't matter that there's 2 minutes to go. They're still ball searching and trying to knock that football away. And if you don't secure it, there you go. 5 turnovers by Preston Stone. And Matt, let's not forget that he fumbled the first snap of the game,
which was, thankfully for them, recovered by his left tackle Caleb Tiernan. Otherwise, it could have been 6 turnovers this afternoon. Retzloff the flip to Amari Hayes, and he is tackled at around the line of scrimmage by Mac Uline. Well, entering the season, Tulane was one of the favorites out of the group of 5. Then South Florida handed it to Boise State on Thursday night, and that jumped Tulane into the top spot per ESPN analytics as far as most likely to reach the college football playoff. They have looked like it today. It's been all Tulane's defense all day, and it started on the first drive of the game. A strip sack nearly recovered by the Tulane defense. But then a couple plays later, the first of 4 interceptions of the game. 2 of those by Jaheim Johnson. Kevin Adams got involved as well, and Javian White had a pair of interceptions. A couple of sacks thrown in there. And then the fumble recovery to get the ball back for Tulane. And here's a wildcat. It's Maurice Turner, and he will go down. Well, the last time Tulane beat a Power 4 team at home was Mississippi State in 2003. They also had 5 takeaways in that game. Recipe for success against the Big Ten Northwestern Wildcats.
That's just incredible. The 8 straight stops defensively, plus 4 in turnovers. And their offense is getting points off these turnovers.
Victory formation, and it is the Iowa transfer Brennan Sullivan against his former team. Remember, Brennan Sullivan played for Northwestern for 3 years, transferred to Iowa, and now in his final season of college football playing for Tulane. We were told that he would have missed the next 11 games if he could have played in this one, and the coaches said, we're going to need you later this season. Dustin, boy, is this team loaded with weapons, both sides of the football at every position.
You know, Matt, I came into this game thinking, you know, this Tulane football team has a chance to be as good or better than, you know, the team that they had a year ago, certainly. They might be better than the team that was in the Cotton Bowl.
Wow.
Potentially. I mean, it's early. I'm not jumping the gun here and trying to, you know, denigrate that awesome team with Pratt and company. But I mean, this is a very talented football team, well coached, and I think with the addition of Retzloff, I mean, I don't know. This is a guy that nearly had BYU, you know, win the Big 10 or Big 12 last year. So put him in the American. I think he's going to do some special things.
First win for John Summerall as a head coach against a Power 4 opponent. He was previously 0-5. And the biggest win in program history against a Power 4 team since 1995, beating Wake Forest 35-9. Tulane did not allow Northwestern to score a point after the first quarter. Dominant in all facets of this game. 5 takeaways. A monster performance by Jake Retzloff, over 100 yards rushing and passing in his opening game as the Tulane Green Wave quarterback. For our entire ESPN crew, the former Buckeye, Dustin Fox, Matt Schumacher saying so long from New Orleans.